We're going to put in a set of spark plugs on this 5.3. Now, I'm fortunate, if you'll notice, my truck is lifted. And I've got a lift. But you can do the same thing at your house. Just put your jack right there and lift it up. Of course, you're going to have extended lift. Now, if you're on a two-wheel drive truck, you can do the same thing. Raise it up. Now, I've seen some of them where they take the inner fender liner out, which this doesn't look like it's a big issue to take out anyway, so. But when you go to take these boots off, I seen a guy using a screwdriver and prying on it, and I wouldn't recommend that. But if you'll take and get it to where you feel it break loose. Now, them ain't easy to do, but just keep working at it and you can wiggle it off. I've seen other videos act like you just get you a good grip. Guys got a screwdriver prying on it like this, and the metal is not what's holding it, and this is some kind of a heat shield, but you're gonna do the same thing with the rest of them. This, just having this one pointing back, and what they've done is these heads are made where they have manufactured one side. They can stamp one head and use it for either side. And that's the reason why half of them pointing back and the other half of them pointing forward. Now, you got to keep in mind that this shield here, you don't want to damage it because you're new. Even if you get new boots, it doesn't come with a heat shield. So that one popped off fairly easy with that. So I think that's the way to go. Let's see about this back one. Now you want to get on the metal, of course. Now, like I said, you don't want to damage your heat shield. So I'm not squeezing really hard on it. That one's hanging in pretty tight, but yeah. So if you got a pair of these needle nose hose pliers, I'd like to have my bigger set is not here. Now, if you can, I'd recommend when you pick up your plugs, that socket is not really expensive. You're spending $100 on a set of plugs, and you want to spend $10 or $15 on a swivel socket. Now, you're going to use it more than once, I would say. I mean, if you buy this, you buy a swivel spark plug socket. All right, let's see just how much pressure it takes to get that off. Now, this is even a better choice, I think. We usually all have one of these when you get a set, but if not, pick up this and you can use it on anything. Oh, that wasn't even hardly tied at all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break the rest of them loose. Let's do that. Now I'm also using this swivel head, cheap ratchet. What did I say? Master hand, something like that. We'll break the rest of them loose. I did use a straight 5/8 socket with a short extension because of the swivel. It makes it too hard to actually get in there and turn it without it wanting to swivel on you. Besides, you never want to use a air ratchet or a mechanical ratchet. Although this is AC Delco and them are AC Delco plugs, but never use a ratchet of this type to remove or install the plugs. Delco supposedly original equipment, it is a 41962. It says double platinum. Seems to me like that this new box is a little generic or bland. But you look at your box, See, it don't look like it's been run over by a tow motor or something like that. Before you accept the plugs, and then you can slide them out. The thing is these plugs have nothing to keep the gap from being damaged, and if they get slapped down in any form or fashion, the gap's going to change. Now, we're not going to be as worried about individual gaps. We just want to line them all up and see if they look similar. All we're looking for here is see if they're similar as far as the gap, because if one's a huge amount, then you're going to have to see what the average is. And then we're going to take and look at the porcelain. We want to look at the porcelain and make sure there's no cracks. You'll see a crack, and it's kind of a lot of work and expense to do this, to get a cracked plug when you could have just looked at it. When I'm installing, I've got an old boot I like to use. It's got enough flex to it, so when you get it up there, it'll try to line itself up. It wants to go back in the hole, and this way I can't mechanically force it not to go back into the hole. Now, I do go ahead and pull all my plugs and install my plugs back in all at once. More efficient. You want to do this on a cold engine. See how easy that was? I didn't put no lot of pressure on it, and you can take and run it all the way back in. You'll feel it stop. And that's another thing. If your threads is cross-threading or got some trash in it, that boot's gonna slip. There's no way you can over tighten it. Here, but it has started. Now, when I put these back in, I will be using a ratchet. Now, you've seen when I was pulling this plug out, I may have been the reason why that plug is so hard to install. Now, another thing is there's no way you can cross these wires. I don't think they'll reach, but even if they would, the coil's up above each plug. See, now that started. No great effort. I didn't try to make it start. Just put just enough effort against it that it'll go on in. See, the threads on this one may have a little issue. Okay, let's see if our last one is as easy as the rest of these to start. When you're putting it in too, you don't want to rub it all over, especially if you got an oily engine. You don't want to rub it all over everything to get trash on it. Thing is, I'm going in a blind hole here. I can't tell what the name hole is. Yeah, I was trying to get in just a little too big of an angle, but always check. Make sure you don't have no trash. Get any trash in between there, you're going to get a misfire and you're going to really be upset. Look, thing starts easy. This one here I'm going to pay a little extra attention to because it didn't start like. I'm going to grab another plug and see what the difference is. I don't know that they recommend putting anti-seize. A lot of people put it on everything. I don't put it on anything. Maybe old school Ford cast iron. Yeah, that's just got a bunch of rust built up in it. So I'm just going to take it slow and easy on it. Clearly you can tell in this video it was my fault that the threads got damaged as they did, but fortunately it didn't really hurt anything. I was able to install them without any issue. Now you want to keep your whole setup as straight as possible, and you just want to nudge it a little past that seat so it stopped there. Now I'm snug. Now to remember, this next one was the one that was acting weird, so I'm gonna go slow, easy with it. Feels like it's binding a little bit. I'll back it back up, but yeah, you can't even tell it with this ratchet. So that's not an issue, other than I'm gonna have to spend quite a bit of time running her in. But that's all right too. We just want to make sure we don't damage something. Take it in. Them heads are aluminum. Feel it snugging down there, but it don't feel like it's really binding up. Alright, it is stopped. Because you do want it tight. Now this one I can use extension on, but the one in the back you're going to have to just do it the old little short. So the biggest problem is we don't put a lot of force on it side to side. We want to try to come straight in as possible. I got a short extension on it and a straight socket. More threads and things got in it, I would thought it'd been in by now. Now on to the driver's side, we'll do the same thing. This side is much easier than the other side, so. Now if you plan on reusing these, you need to be really gentle. I'm going to go ahead and put a new set. Mine under a load, it misfires. And usually that's either a cracked plug or a bad plug wire. That's something to keep in mind. And anytime I get a chance, I'll use my pry point. But I'm still waking. Now we're going to take the Yankees out, and we should be able to use our extension on all these. I'm going to go ahead and break them all loose so I don't use my electric ratchet on the rest of them. Now that one appeared to be looser than the other ones, and I'm thinking there was two plugs I replaced because I had two that was missing prior. I was just investigating at the time, so I put in regular plugs. Now when you're doing plugs, you want to keep it as straight as possible. Get your line as straight as possible, because you don't want to crack that plug. You may have to play around with it just a little to make sure you get the length you want. But I'm going to have to get up above plug there has definitely never been out. Whew! Maybe that was in there, huh? So that one's probably been in there for a period of time. Let's go ahead and get our faster ratchet, we'll put it that way. And one more. Now we can use the same ritual, install them with our boot. Lined up. These are the plugs that I did take out. But you can see the two, them are just resistor plugs. They're not made for this engine. And we're going to go ahead. I couldn't get AC Delco wires, so I just went ahead and got these Ultimate Select. Now all these boots are the same length, and depending on which one you have, some of them have square boots here and the other ones have the round ones like I've got. The ones with the heat sink has got the round coil boots. So let's look at that and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You'll notice that aluminum ridge at the top of the coil, that's a heat sink. That's supposed to help pull the heat from the coil. So if it didn't have that, probably the coils will be square. But now we can go ahead and replace our boots or our coil wires. Take a pick and I'm going to break the boot seal loose from the coil before I try to pull it off. I'll do the same with the other 6. Just pull off without any problem. And we'll put it on our new ones. And we'll be able to install our new coil wires. Now when you're installing these and you're putting them up on there, it may trap air in there, and as you drive, it may work its way off. So you take something, screwdriver, pick, and just belch the air pocket out of it. It's what you want to do. See the difference in it? It kind of puts a little suction on it. And wait for the click, pull on it a little bit, and that's it. We'll do the other 3. Now it does seem like the easiest way is to start your screwdriver or your pick in there at the same time, and then that purges all your air out, and then listen for the click for it to lock in. There it went. Same thing at the bottom. Listen. You feel it lock, and you're good. Let's see if we can turn that to work. I want to pull away from the manifold. About does it. Thank you for watching.